Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, the trial of the man accused of killing 8-year-old Tazne van Wyk continues today. Moehydien Pangaker has denied violating her. He's expected to continue testifying in the High Court in the Western Cape today. Pangaker faces 27 charges, including that of rape and murder. eNCA's Nobesuthu Hejana is following that trial and joins us now. Good morning, Nobesuthu. Yesterday, it seemed there was a lot of confusion around how Moehydien met the deceased now. Just give us an overview of what was heard in court yesterday.
Sure. So yesterday, Moehydien Pangaker told the court that he met the little girl just outside a shop that is opposite her house. He went to the shop to buy cigarettes because he wanted to get some change, and he noticed that his phone was running flat, so he went back to his house and he charged, and then it rang, and there was someone who was calling him, but when he answered, no one was speaking, so he decided to charge his phone again, and he went out because he was supposed to meet a person who was going to offer him a lift to Worcester, but along his way, when he was walking up the streets in the area of Ravensmith, a taxi with 4 passengers stopped in front of him, and the people inside were asking for directions to the Malawi camp, and when he answered that he did not know the area, Tazne van Wyk appeared out of nowhere and telling the people that she knew the area, and he told the court that the little girl jumped inside the taxi and sat next to the driver, and he decided to also follow her because he did not want her to travel alone. But the defense was also asking him quite a lot of questions about why would Tazne know the area, and also why was he going to Worcester, but he did not give clarity on that because most of the time he was reprimanded by the judge as well as his defense lawyer that he needed to give the interpreter time to translate the questions to him in Afrikaans before speaking, because he was speaking over the interpreter and answering before his time was given. But there was a lot of confusion regarding his encounters with Tazne, and at some time when he was referring to the little girl, the defense then asked him who is he talking about, and at times he was not giving clear answers and saying maybe Tasneem, Taz, and so the defense lawyer had to ask, are you referring to Tazne? And he responded yes, but he was very jolly when he walked in court yesterday. It was a bit different from what he used to, or what we used to see of him. He would normally sit and not interact or try to hide his face when the media tries to take pictures of him, but he took off his mask and took off his gloves, and he was posing for pictures for the media. So this morning we are expecting for him to give a bit of clarity about his journey to Worcester, why exactly was he going there, and also him denying knowing the little girl, but then deciding to jump into a taxi that he claims Tazne went in so that she could guide the 4 passengers who were looking for the Malawi camp in the area of Ravensmith. But we also heard yesterday when he was talking about violating his bail conditions as per the testimony of the parole officer last week, when he was asked why he did not notify the parole officer about his journey to Joburg or whether he got a job in Johannesburg. He then said he tried countless times to tell the parole officers, but none of them took him serious and they thought he was joking, and he actually went to the facility to try and report that he had found employment in Johannesburg and he would need to travel, and the defense also asking him, could you not then maybe try harder or make several attempts to ensure that they know where you are so that they don't report you as a missing person, like we heard from the parole officer last week saying that they had to issue a warrant of arrest because at times when they tried to visit him to his house. As per his parole conditions, he was nowhere to be found and no one knew his whereabouts. He also gave testimony about the people or some of the family members that are accusing him of sexual assault, saying that if they actually wanted to report him, they could have done so, because there were several opportunities where he was not around them, where he was arrested, so they could have opened those charges or cases against him, saying that he does not understand why most of the crimes, referring to the 27 charges, were only opened after he was arrested for the murder and the kidnapping of Tazne van Wyk, saying that he does not understand, as he is also denying all of them.
Did you perhaps get an opportunity to speak to some of the family members of Tazne yesterday to find out what they made of just the testimony that he didn't know Tazne, nor couldn't explain why he was going to Worcester, or even why he decided to get onto the taxi to assist her when she was the one who was going to direct those people that were lost?
Well, a family is not really speaking to the media on record about how the trial is going, but we did get an opportunity last week to try and engage the mother, but she did say that the father will be speaking on behalf of the family probably after the trial, because they still want to process and hear all of this, because also Mr. Pangaker told the court last week, or rather this week on Monday, he did say that he did meet Tazne's father, and they were actually drinking together in the yard. So, but he did not necessarily have a relationship with the girl when he was asked about how he knew the family. But then he did say that it was just a little girl that he saw from the streets. So, but when he was testifying and pretending that, or claiming that he did not know Tazne, I mean, there were some of the voices from the gallery where people were mumbling and also being surprised that after the court, or after the name of Tazne has been mentioned several times in court, he still does not know whether it's Tasneem or who, and then he had to get an assistance from his defense lawyer to say it's Tazne van Wyk. So we will be trying whether today to see if some of the people who are supporting the family who are attending this trial would actually be speaking to the media regarding Mr. Pangaker's encounters, or his alleged encounters with the little girl, and maybe why he is denying knowing them, but also saying that he was renting a house which was next to the shop that was opposite Tazne's house.
All right, Nobesuthu, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much for that update. That's reporter Nobesuthu Hejana monitoring that case for us. To the eastern